Hi. You came back. You came back. You came back. You came. Hi. Thank you for coming back. This is in the same setting of the first story. If you've watched the other two videos, because there was a part 1 and a part 2, if you watch those, this is in the same sitting because it's Women's History Month and I'm feeling very nostalgic on the things that I've accomplished in my life. And so I'm like, yeah, let me talk a little bit about the time when I was a female mascot in a male-driven sport. Yeah, let me put this behind my ear. It didn't want to do right in the other video, so haha, yes. Okay, so I repeat. I said this in the first video of the last story time. I am not using this as a bashing session for the league that I worked for. By no means am I doing that. I have the utmost respect for my manager of my team. Like I said, I think president, manager, I should have researched it. But he was a fantastic supporter of me. He was a fantastic supporter of trying to be on the right side of history. And over the years, I have grown to see that he is a believer himself. And so I have nothing but respect for him. And he did right by me every time I had to, or every time I was led or felt led to discuss anything with him. It didn't matter what it was. His door was always open. And he was like, hey, let's talk about it. Have a seat at my round table. And so you know who you are, sir. Hats off to you in dealing with me. I don't know how you deal with everybody else, but in dealing with me. So this is not a bashing session of my time or that person who was in charge. As a matter of fact, I think he handled this situation that I'm about to share quite beautifully. So during, I can't remember if it was it had to have been my 3rd year. I think it was my 3rd year. I don't know. I'd have to look back just to confirm. I'd have to look back at emails because you know me. I document everything, paper trail on everything. Everything. And so, in this particular season, so with baseball and with our team, there was a dealership that sponsored the baseball team, or was one of the sponsors of the baseball team. And so the male mascot and the female mascot, we would open up the game riding around the bases in a vehicle. And so, or we would walk the bases, either be in a vehicle or walk the bases, or be in something, but we would ride the bases. So this particular night, I don't know what kind of craziness, it was crazy. I wasn't even scheduled for that game, but I actually signed up for that game because I had a person who, she said she was coming to the game and bringing her family to the game. And she was like, I want my family to meet. You know, I want them to see you in character. So I was like, okay, cool, girl, I got you. Bet, let's go. Especially those of us Black people. So I was called the curvy. I was the curvy mascot. If you watch the first part 1 of the last story time, there was another woman who she did the role, and then I did the role, but she was not the curvy. I was the curvy. So, Black people, they were like, we know you. They would come and whisper, we know you a sister. We know you a sister. So yes, I am a sister. And those of the Black community, they wanted to come and support. And so this sister friend had her family. And so I signed up for the day because I was like, I'm going to come and say hey to them, let them take pictures and all the things. Well, back to the driving around the bases opening inning. This particular night, we were in an open vehicle and we were driving past the other team. And somebody in that team felt so led. I don't know what possessed this person. Demon jumped into this person to take a full cup of, we still to this day don't know what it was. We're thinking it's water, but who knows? Could have spit in, could have spat in the, who knows? But it was some liquid. That mug jumped out and whoosh. Yes, the full cup of whatever that was, the full cup, tossed it, got all over me, my mask. So with the mascot mask, there's mesh in the front. So whatever it was, it came through the mesh and onto my face. And I'm mortified in the inside of this costume head. Like, know this mother father. Y'all know I cuss. No, this mother father did not just so we ride around, and at that point in time I'm just like, well, I immediately told my direct contact, my supervisor who was directly over me, who was promo manager, events manager, or whatever. I can't remember his formal title either, but I was like, yo, did you see what happened? And he was like, no, I didn't see what happened. I don't know what happened. Let me tell you what happened. So I recounted everything. And my male counterpart, the male mascot, was like, I can't believe that just happened. The driver was like, I can't believe that just happened. So fast forward, I was fuming during the game, but I didn't let it, I was processing as I do. I didn't let it mess up the evening. I regrouped, cleaned the screen, clearly cleaned it, regrouped, and then after the evening I told the my direct supervisor, I was like, is there protocol for this? And he was like, no, I don't think there is. Okay. So went home and prayed about it. 2018, that's when it was. It was 2018. It was 2018. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. Okay, maybe I snapped too soon. I think it was, but anyway, prayed about it, and I was like, you could go two different ways with this. Like, it could have been, I could have sued for assault, because that's considered assault. I could have sued, or I know how God. That was my prayer. That was my conversation with God. I know how you've built me, God. You've used my entire life to be lessons to people, and how they treat me is the lesson that they receive. That's the wisdom that they receive. People who treat me well tend to have great, favorable, blessed outcomes. People who treat me not so well tend to have what they bring on themselves, not necessarily what I dish out. I just know that if God be for me, who can be against me? So, God, what do you want me to do in this instance? And so God was like, no, we're not about to try to sue them, but you need to talk to the manager. And so I emailed and requested, this is going to bother me. It's not going to bother me. I need to give you, let me do a fact check. Hold, please. I tried to confirm it. I couldn't find it. So I guess that it doesn't mean anything. It's not important to the story. Anywho, I felt so moved to talk to the manager of the team, and I did talk to him, and he said, hey, I totally hear you, and thank you for, your kindness and the grace you've extended in this situation or circumstance. I don't know if I would have been able to hold the same restraint. So he said, listen, we're going into the conference. We're going into the conference with the baseball. However, whatever they discuss and describe rules and different things, they decide things. And so he said, we're going into this, and it's gonna be. I'm gonna discuss it, and I will come back to you afterwards. And so a few weeks went by, not a few, it wasn't too long, maybe a couple or so went by, and he was like, hey, I want to discuss the aftermath of everything. And so he said, the long and the short of it is this. We did address what happened to you because your concerns were valid, and the way that you were able to share them with me, and I was able to share them with the actual commissioner. I can't remember what the titles are of these people. That's sad. But he said, the fact that there was no redress, no policy and procedure, because that was my thing, like I'd ask my immediate supervisor, like, is there a policy and procedure on this? I'm a grown adult woman at that point in time. I'm like 38 or 39. So I had already gone through my super uber professional life, and I think a lot of people, I'm not going to say them per se, but a lot of people have not been exposed to the professionalism and the confirmation and just the levels of professional recourse and business acumen that I have. And so he said, you know, I was like, are there any procedures, policies and procedures to handle these incidents? And there weren't. And he said, as a result, there were rules enforced, and I think either the commissioner was a woman during that time or whatever, I don't know, but he said the person in charge, she was not pleased. She was not pleased with the basic things that had been kind of established. She was not they didn't suit her. So she was like, no, this is what's going to happen. And not only were the different laws, rules set in place, the policies and procedures, but fines were also set in place as well. Satisfied. Thank you, Holy Spirit. She wasn't satisfied with what had been established. And she was like, no, it's going to be these policies and procedures, but there are also going to be some fines incurred, because at the end of the day, people only care about the bottom dollar. And he said that fines, big fines, high fines, were actually imposed on the teams of any player who feels so moved to assault a mascot who really by rights not supposed to defend him or herself, that team will suffer financially. So I was like, right on. I can get with that. And then I think it might have either been later in that game, because that person did come to me. Like, it wasn't no BS. It wasn't no like, oh yeah, I'll talk to you later, because I've had a lot of that in my life too. No, he came back, and I think it was later that day in that game. One of the guys who he would drive the vehicles and be around. He might have been the one to drive the vehicle that day. I can't remember. But anyway, he was like, Did you talk to the manager about what happened? Like, and I was like, I did. And he was like, so the fines and the fees and stuff, that was because of you. And I was like, well, I don't know if it was because of me, but I know that the next mascot prayerfully will be protected because of me. And hopefully and prayerfully, anybody who thinks that they can just do whatever they want to do in this field, that he'll think twice before he tries to assault anybody, especially a defenseless character. So, yeah. Remember, if you haven't seen it already, the good you do, friends. Go back and watch that video. The good you do, and also just stand for something. So yeah. Happy March. Happy Women's Month. Happy whenever you see this. You are amazing and awesome. Thank you for sharing this time with me and for this video. Even if you had to put it in double time. Oh, join the club. If you be like I be, like, what is wrong with you? No, what is right? What is right with me? What is right with me? All right, friends. We're doing this together. And I hope you have a great day. Bye.